Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Man, Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. Today, we're talking about stud major league pitchers that I love to hit. Not many of them, but we're going to go into a couple of them, okay? Before we do that, today's video is sponsored by Rocket Sports. Rocket makes top quality baseball gear and equipment. We use a bunch of their stuff with Antonelli Baseball. Definitely go and check their stuff out. If you go to the description box below, click on the link there. It's going to take you over and give you 15% off of your order, so definitely go and do that. Okay. I get this question a lot. I haven't answered it a ton because, unfortunately for me, I haven't loved hitting off of major league pitchers. If you go and check my average, I hit just under 200. Okay, so I didn't have a ton of success in my major league career, but I did face a couple of guys that I thought, well, this isn't so bad. Like, it could be a lot harder than this. I've also faced guys that I'm like, this is impossible. I can't hit these guys at all. I'm going to make another video on that a little bit later. But for right now, let's talk about some major league guys that you've heard of, that when I faced, I was like, I either had success off of, even if it was short success, or I just thought, this it feels kind of like a comfortable at bat. Now, there's also been plenty of times where you have comfortable at bats and you don't get any hits, and you walk back to the dugout and you're like, what is going on here? I feel like I should be crushing this guy, but I never ever hit him, okay? Again, we'll talk about that in a different video. So, number one, we're going to start with one of the best pitchers ever, a Hall of Famer, Greg Maddux. Now, let me preface it with this. I faced Greg Maddux when he was very old. It was at the very end of his career. It says on TV that he was throwing, I think, like 86 or 87 when he faced me. I don't know if they were juicing the gun up a little bit because it was Greg Maddux, but it felt like it was probably more like 80. I mean, it felt very slow. It could have also felt like that because most pitchers are throwing 90 plus miles an hour. I'm not sure what it is or what it was. But I made my debut off of Greg Maddux. Again, if you're new to the channel, you don't know that. My very first major league at bat was against Greg Maddux. He threw me a 1-1 fastball. I think it was a 1-1 fastball. Didn't feel like a fastball. I hit a single to center. I would just qualify it as a very comfortable at bat. If I'd faced him 100 times in my life, he might have gotten me out a bunch. He would have gotten me out a bunch. But I would have never felt uncomfortable in the box. I would have never felt like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do right now. Right? Which, again, plenty of times you get in the box against guys and you're like, I have no chance. I don't know how I'm going to get a hit off this guy. With Maddux, it was two seam fastballs that moved a ton. Okay? So these things, they just came in and they looked like they were in the air forever. Okay? Like a lot of times, you get less than 0.4 of a second to hit a major league fastball, okay? So usually it's like boom, boom, like the ball comes out of the hand, it's in the glove. But with him, it felt like it was slow motion. You see the ball come in, ooh, here it comes. It's going to start to tail and run back into me. Like that's what it felt like in the at-bat. And so you were never going to be overpowered or overwhelmed. But he did have a lot of movement, and he did still obviously have pretty good command. Now, not like he did when he was younger, but he's Greg Maddux, right? But every at-bat, when I got out against him, it was usually a ground ball, right? It was one of those, here it comes, and I'm going to swing, and it just sank and ran just a little bit under my barrel, and I would get on top of it, and I'd, hit a ground ball to shortstop, right? And I'd get out, and I'd be like, I'd come back and be like, how did I not crush that ball? Ball's right there. So, again, not that I destroyed him. I think I was 1 for 3 off of him that first game that I faced him in. And, I would have felt great facing him tons of times. He would have probably been my first pick to get like a 40-something-year-old Greg Maddux throwing, which seemed to be 80 miles an hour, 82 miles an hour. Would have been super comfortable, still might have gotten out a lot. But I would have really enjoyed, I would have loved to hit against him. If I had to pick somebody, I probably would have picked him. Okay? That's the first guy. Second guy is Andrew Miller. So Andrew Miller, who has absolutely filthy stuff. I don't know what it was about Andrew Miller. But throughout my whole life, and I faced Andrew Miller all the way, I faced him in college in the Cape Cod League. That's when I started facing him. I faced him all the way up. I actually never faced him in the major leagues, interesting enough. I was in the National League, and he was in the American League at that time. And so, never faced him. But I always had success against him my entire life. And I have no idea why. This is one guy, I talked about Greg Maddux, how you come back to the dugout after you get out against them and you're like, how did I get out? Andrew Miller was the guy that every time I got up and I'd hit a ball hard and hit a double or I'd, have a hard contact, I'd always get back in the dugout afterwards. I'd be like, how the hell am I hitting this guy? Like every single time. I don't know what it was. He threw from like this crazy, like this low arm angle and he stepped towards, in the other batter's box. And luckily I was a righty and not a lefty. If I'm a lefty, he might be the most uncomfortable at bat of anyone's career. And so I never looked forward to facing him. It was never like, oh, beautiful, Andrew Miller's on the mound today. Like I never thought that. But whatever it was, I don't know what it was. Every time I swung, I hit the ball hard. Like every single time. It's the strangest thing ever. I can't explain it. His teammate, Daniel Bard, who you guys have probably heard of, played in the major leagues for a while, he was the opposite. Every time I swung against him, I couldn't hit the ball to save my life. Like he was, in the other video I'm going to talk about this, he was my nemesis. I could never touch him. And they both played together in college at UNC, so I'd always face one day, one the next day, all 3 years. And I'd face him, making our way to the major leagues. But Daniel Bard, I couldn't touch to save my life. Andrew Miller would get on the mound, most disgusting stuff I ever seen, and somehow I'm squaring it up every single time. There's no rhyme or reason for it. I have no idea why. I know this video was entitled Major League Hitters or Pitchers that I would love to face. I didn't love facing. I was kind of scared to face them, but I guess I loved it because I hit like 800 off of them, okay? So that's Andrew Miller. No clue why. All right, let's talk about another guy, Matt Cain. So Matt Cain was, in my Major League career, again, very short, I had my most success against Matt Cain. I don't think he ever got me out. I think I was 3 for 3 against him. Only faced him one game. Matt Cain had a great career. Like later in his career, he kind of went from like really good to he disappeared. And like it was weird. He went from really good to not good. And I don't know if it was injuries or not. You guys can put it in the comment section below. I'm not sure what happened with him. I never really followed his career later in his career. I just know he kind of disappeared. But when he was good, he was really, really good. And I faced him kind of around his really, really good time. Like I remember facing him and be like, oh, Matt Cain's on the mound. And this is actually one lesson that I got that I don't think I did a good job of. I think it's hard for a lot of players to do this when they first get called up. But a lot of times they would talk to us about you're not facing the guy, you're not facing the name on the back of the jersey, right? If you do that, then you start to kind of psych yourself out, right? So, and I know this is very hard. They always would say this to me, and I'd be like, well, when everybody knows who he is, like. You read the lineup card and you see, Greg Maddux, you see Maddux, and then, you go out to the game and you see him on the scoreboard, and then obviously you know what he looks like if you watch Major League Baseball, so you see him there, so it's hard to just say, well, I'm not going to face, the name on the jersey, I'm going to just face a random pitcher. That's very hard to do. And so, again, Matt Cain, you step in the box, this Matt Cain, this guy's like really, really good, has great stuff. I don't know what it was, everything I swung at when Cain threw to me, I hit it pretty good. The first one I didn't hit great. I mean, I hit it in the 6th hole, and Omar Vizquel was their shortstop. He kind of ran the whole backhanded jump throw, and I beat it out at first. Didn't hit it poorly, but didn't like crush it. And then I hit, what else did I hit against him? I hit a double down the line, and then I hit a line. I think I hit a line drive, some plays for a single or something like that. I don't know. Every time I swung, I just felt like I saw the ball really well. There's certain pitchers, and this is one thing, where you just see the ball well. And again, it's hard to explain why that is. But when Matt Cain was pitching to me, I just felt like I saw the ball well, right? So it was 90, he probably threw, I don't know what he was throwing, probably like 92 to 93-ish, probably somewhere in there, maybe a 94, I believe. But it just, you just pick the ball up well, you see the ball well, you see spin, I guess you want to call it. You just see it. And the game seems to just kind of be a little bit slower when you're facing these guys that you see well. And he was one of those guys. I felt like if I faced him a lot, not saying I would have gotten a hit every time, but I feel like I would have had a chance. I feel like, again, it would have been more of a comfortable at bat and not an uncomfortable at bat, which gives you some confidence and makes you feel like you can hit the guy. Now you bounce back to Daniel Bard again. There's some guys that you don't know why. I mean, with Daniel Bard, you know why. He was throwing like 98 miles an hour. But I'd faced other guys that threw 98 that I felt like I saw the ball better. With Daniel Bard, I didn't see anything. It basically felt like I was hitting in the dark. That's kind of what it felt like. Like they turned the lights off and they were like, good luck, buddy. He's going to throw 100. Go get him. Because I couldn't see anything. Like the ball, he had this slow wind up, and then he'd go boom, and the ball would come out, and it would just be, it would be by you. Like, I would be there, I'd be like, all right, here we go, and then I'd be waiting, and the ball would already be in the glove, and I'd be like, the hell was that? Like, that's what it felt like every at-bat. I felt like I had a swing before he released the ball. Really hard to hit if you've ever played baseball before. It's hard to hit if you feel like you've got a swing before he releases the ball. You swing with no information, and then you just pray that the bat hits the ball somehow. That's what it felt like against Daniel Bard. It's not what it felt like against the other guys that I'm talking about in this video, okay? So, again, those are the guys that kind of come to mind. I wish I had more guys, but I didn't have a whole lot of success. I didn't have any success in the major leagues. What the hell am I talking about? I didn't hit well at all. And I did face a lot of guys. You know, I played a lot of years of big league spring training, so I faced a bunch of guys, but I'm not going to put them on here. Like Justin Verlander, like I had a knock or so against him and a couple of at-bats. Not going to put him on there. Like, I don't... Spring training with him, I feel like he wasn't even like really trying. He was like 92 miles an hour. He was just waiting for the real games to start so he'd go up to 96 and strike everybody out. So I'm not going to put him on there. Not going to put other guys on there either. Just because I didn't have enough success against those guys. The better video will be who are the MLB studs that I hated to face, because I could put like 400 of those guys on there because I struggled against a bunch of guys. But that is for a totally different video. So maybe I'll make it right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, all that good stuff. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later.